The dude has been, lack of a better term, cheating. Since he was, I mean, he had guys recruiting for USC that were on his staff at Oklahoma before anybody else even knew that he was taking that job. Then last year, Jordan Addison wins the Biletnikoff at Pitt. They win the ACC. He had no plans he hadn't talked about going anywhere. All of a sudden, he's going into the portal. And he went late. Why? Because he got a fat lump of cash and Lincoln was getting a hold of it. Pat Narduzzi screaming on the tables about that.
Yes.
Texas has been throwing his.
Narduzzi, he's not a real vocal guy about that kind of stuff. I mean, about anything. He just kind
of. He's going to go up and just coach you. He's just going to go out and coach his team.
Yeah.
But hey, he was very loud about it.
He was
pissed. And listen, hey, everybody, we've talked about this too. That whole deal with Caleb Williams, and there's a reason why most Oklahoma fans are now like, screw Caleb Williams, because even though he did play in the bowl game, even though he did what he did, he rode back with Lincoln from the Bedlam game in a Suburban, and they had it all planned out as far as everybody's concerned, because sure enough, he never would say what he was going to do, and that's back to the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. He's the coach, Philip Roybal. And if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring that bell so you don't miss one moment of the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. I'd like to welcome back to the show the coach, Philip Roybal. How you doing today, Coach?
You know what? Every day that I wake up, my eyes open up, and I climb out of bed, it is an excellent day. Now, some of the crap that happens during the day may not be so excellent, but you know what? At the end of the day, it's a great day, just like every day.
You know, for us OU fans and stuff, it's a good day. Good day. Excited to see some of that stuff going on. Again, guys, make sure you hit that like button. We're pretty close to how many people are in here. I'd like to see more people coming in. Make sure you're sharing this with your friends, letting us know about that, letting them know we're on the push to 1,500 subscribers. We hit our 1,000 in January. We've been kind of hovering around 1,450 we're at 1,460 now. We've been there for a couple of weeks though. So it'd be great if we could kind of up those numbers a little bit. That 1,500 number, that's a nice milestone. And I'd love to be at 2,000 well before the season starts, which is, still a little ways away. But, it helps us. The more subscribers we have, the more they push our videos out there. So that's a good deal. That being said, okay, so kind of looking through some of this stuff we were talking about. Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley.
Who?
Tebow. Now, so I was going to ask you guys all what you thought. The NCAA in the last week has clarified on their stance now on, and this is supposed to have been how it was anyway, that you get one freebie to where you can transfer in the portal without having to sit or anything like that. That's not been how it is. You have at least who's the kid from Bishop Gorman that he's been in 4 colleges in 4 years now. Same thing with JT Daniels. He started off at SC, was in Georgia and West Virginia. Now he's at Rice.
Yeah.
So these guys are moving around. I don't know how much they're going to do as far as that's concerned, but here's what my thought was. And this is the first thing I thought. I made some people laugh here today on Twitter on this one. If you didn't see the trailer, the video trailer, you'll have to check it out. But my question was, so now they're saying they are, unless you are going to, essentially, unless there's extenuating circumstances like, mental health problems or some kind of abusive situation within the program, or I mean, they were talking. I mean, even in the memo that they put out, it was a lot of doom and gloom type of stuff, and I was kind of surprised that they actually made examples like that.
Right.
Basically, what they're saying is you ain't going anywhere and get to just play right now. And what did she do now? I just feel like this is a Lincoln Riley rule. I just feel like this is the Lincoln Riley rule because of the fact that, in lack of a better term, cheating. Since he was, I mean, he had guys recruiting for USC that were on his staff at Oklahoma before anybody else even knew that he was taking that job. Then last year, Jordan Addison wins the Biletnikoff at Pitt. They win the ACC. He had no plans he hadn't talked about going anywhere. All of a sudden, he's going into the portal. And he went late. Why? Because he got a fat lump of cash and Lincoln was getting a hold of it. Pat Narduzzi screaming on the tables about that. Yes. Texas has been throwing his.
Narduzzi, he's not a real vocal guy about that kind of stuff. I mean, about anything. He just
he's a hard. He's man. He's gonna go up and just coach you. He's just gonna go out and coach his team.
Yeah.
But hey, he was very loud about it.
He was
pissed. And listen, hey, everybody, we've talked about this too. That whole deal with Caleb Williams, and there's a reason why most Oklahoma fans are now like, screw Caleb Williams, because even though he did play in the bowl game, even though he did what he did, he rode back with Lincoln from the Bedlam game in a Suburban, and they had it all planned out as far as everybody's concerned, because sure enough, he never would say what he was going to do, and then he used them going and getting Dylan Gabriel as his reason to leave. Right. Which was BS, because they all knew he was leaving. And if you're not going to tell them that you're staying, they have to go get somebody else, right? And they should have went and got more people. They shouldn't have done it that way. That was the other mistake they made, was saying that it was Dylan's job instead of saying come compete for it, because then you ended up with Davis Bevel as your second best quarterback. Sheesh. Same with JT Daniels. Yes. Yeah. Again, guys, there's a lot of these dudes running around that they're getting, I mean, Quinn, he did it one time, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, listen, what's the over-under on them calling for Arch Manning to play? I would say week 2, and if they get beat at Alabama, there's going to be people screaming for Arch to go in. So Quinn, being NFL caliber as far as his arm is concerned, would he stay? Hell no, he was not going to stay. And he would probably even have to sit a year, but I would think that you're going to have to do that. I don't think you're going to get rid of this, but I do feel like this is the Lincoln Riley rule, and I think that that's a fair thing to say. I don't know. What do you think about that, Coach?
Well, hell, bottom line is, I agree. I think it is the Lincoln Riley rule. But at the end of the day, let's clean up. Let's clean it up a little bit. I mean, I mean, when you've been at 4 different schools, come on now.
Hey, listen, maybe it's you. Yeah, maybe it's you.
It just, there's nothing right about it. I mean, bottom line, I mean, hell, pick the school you're going to go to and go. And, and all, in a lot of instances, kids come in there and it wasn't what they really were sold, or coaching staffs change. And,
now that's not going to change. If a coach leaves, they can leave, right? They can still leave with the coach.
Right. Yeah. Which ought to be that way. Because that's not what you bought into. But at the end of the day, you know what? You ought to get to transfer once, and that ought to be
sure. Yeah, and again, that's where I feel like that, and even Lincoln himself, of course, he said this shit after he flipped over, 50 players on his roster in year one, and he says, "Well, I think we're getting to the point we're probably going to have to put some guardrails on the portal." You jackass! You're going to say that now? Well, so I'm glad they did. They waited until he had 2 years worth of good portal players to do it, but they did. And now he's probably screaming that they took him out of context when he said it. No, you said it. They need some guardrails. What they really need is a freaking electric fence for your ass, because
Exactly.
you're shady, bro. You're shady, and so that's just
You're being
shady, bro.
kind.
Yeah. I could say a lot worse. Believe me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Um,
Being kind.
oh yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
well, and I know for 2 years he's been trying to get Xavier Worthy to leave freaking Texas. He's been trying for 2 years to get him out of there, and it's always receivers, you know,
Yeah.
always receivers. But he's been trying to get Xavier Worthy out of there for 2 years. I would not be surprised. Like if, say, you got Jonte Cook, who's going, and he was the best receiver in the state. Um, he ended up with the best numbers, even, but they won the state championship. They beat Geyer
Big guy.
at DeSoto. Big guy, speed. I mean, he's a stud, right? He's going to Texas, but they're loaded everywhere. I mean, if he doesn't get enough playing time, you could see him going to the portal. And particularly, listen, if Sark doesn't start winning, how long do they keep him? How long do they keep him? I think they're probably going to keep him at least for another year to see what they're going to do,
Yeah.
because I don't think that they want to, let Arch walk out the door.
Right.
Um, without ever having played or anything like that. But so I think he's fairly safe. But honestly, what if they stumble and they win 7 or 8 games again, when they should win the conference or be right up there in the championship game at least?
Yep.
I mean, it's not like Texas has a problem with having knee-jerk reactions. They'll do it, So I wouldn't be surprised. It just, to me, there's some things that are going to happen, but I definitely watch. This isn't going to stop him necessarily. He's just going to find another way to do it. But I'm telling you, it's the Lincoln Riley rule. It's got to be, right? It's got to be,
Yeah.
because he is the guy that does it the most. And,
Yep.
and James, I would say that this is one of the reasons that I believe that you're probably right. That he might leave for the NFL at some point if they do start really making it hard. Yeah, 7-win Sark Hank.
Yep.
If they do start making it hard on him to get the players he wants, because he's proven. I mean, he told everybody that the reason he was going to USC was because you couldn't recruit elite players to go to Oklahoma, which is a joke. Look at what they've done the last 2 cycles. They were in the top 10 in a month. They got to number 8 the first go around. This year they got to number 4, and they're probably going to be in the top 5 again.
Mm-hmm.
For the way it looks, it could be top 3. Who knows?
I agree.
But I'm saying, clearly it's a problem that Lincoln has with recruiting, and so he does, and it seems to me like he enjoys getting guys that have already been in programs. He does the retread thing very well. Although his best recruit probably was, aside from Baker, is probably Caleb Williams. So anyway, I don't know, guys, but tell me what you think about that. I mean, I'm going to call it the Lincoln Riley rule until somebody tells me otherwise. I don't think that there's nobody else has really been talking about it when it comes to the transfer stuff, that you have to worry about the shady shit that he's doing, because that's always the name that comes up every time. So, yeah. Is there any rules?
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, there's been stuff in the rules about that, Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah, that rule has been there already. You're not supposed to do it. If they're not in the portal, you're not allowed to talk to them. That's tampering.
Well, but
Right?
the only way that's going to be found out and being able to even be proven is if the whoever he's talking to turns them in for it.
Well, and on top of that, there's even ways around that too, because even with, I mean, he wasn't stupid enough to, with Addison, he didn't talk to him directly.
Right.
He
Indirect.
roundabout way back channeled to him,
Yeah.
You know, and that, hey, come to USC, you can play with Lincoln. He'll give you a couple $1,000,000. Come on. You're the Biletnikoff winner. They need another receiver. You know,
Yeah.
it's again, and listen, and what I would tell you is that when Lincoln wants you, and if you're a receiver or you're a quarterback,
he's going after you.
Oh yeah, well, he got Caleb because the other quarterback. He told the other quarterback to leave. He knew he was getting Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
He knew he was. Caleb can say what he wants, and this is the one place that I take issue with Caleb Williams. He acted like he was going to stay. There was at no time that the man was going to stay. He wasn't staying. He went to Oklahoma for Lincoln. He left Oklahoma for Lincoln, and Jackson Dart is not Caleb. It's not. And so, yeah, he wasn't going to stay. Now, this year, I'm surprised that I was actually kind of surprised that they ended up getting what's his name to stay in because of the fact that he's not going to get a chance to play right away in year one. But when you've won 3 Heisman Trophy, your quarterbacks have won Heisman Trophy 3 times, you're going to get those.